Fingernail pain is so brutal.
Not as bad as toe pain.
It is, dude.
No, toe pain's worse than fingernail.
No, I'm saying it. I'm agreeing.
Oh yeah.
I'm about to put something on the table for you to look at.
Nah, I won't look at it, dude.
That you
I
gotta.
don't do nail stuff.
You just have to acknowledge.
If you put that on the table, I'm
I
gonna
have-
put my toe on the table.
Dude, listen.
No,
You know,
I'm gonna put my toe on the table, and you're not. I'm not gonna look at you, bro. All right, you want to fucking do this? I'm trying to not curse as much, and you're making me curse. Okay,
Look at this pinky toe, dude. I did a number on it.
that's nothing.
I know it's nothing, but that's painful.
Put your foot down and put the mic next to your mouth, so people capture your response to my toe.
All right.
So I've had to do some.
Is your toe gone?
I've had to do some corrective surgery on my toe recently. I really.
Is this backfiring?
I'll be honest. Dude, like my toe got like scraped on something when I was in Virginia, like the toenail, and so like I tried to fix it, and I fucked it up so bad.
Was the corrective surgery your own? Is what you're saying?
The corrective surgery was me putting a wash rag in my mouth and grabbing my Leatherman and ripping parts of the toenail off.
Yeah, I did that last night. Ugh.
Yeah, not like this though. Watch. Are you ready for this, dude?
I'm ready for it. Which
All right,
toe is it?
My big toe. My big left toe.
Oh, I was showing you the pinky. You're getting out the big boy. Oh yeah. Oh. Oh, it's got craters. Oh, it looks like that thing from Goonies. Hey, you guys.
Yeah, it's not good, dude. It's not good. It doesn't hurt. Here's the thing. It doesn't hurt even like remotely as much as like an ingrown toenail. Like,
Yeah.
have you ever had like an ingrown big toenail?
No, I think it's been discussed on the cast before.
Yeah, no. I mean, there's just times like you stub that thing and you think like the heat of pain going off in your brain.
Yeah.
You're like, I could shoot myself if I had a gun. I would. Like, that's how bad it hurts. And like when you take your shoe off and there's just like dried blood and you know, pus on your sock, you gotta throw your socks away.
It's horrible.
It was rough, dude.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Just nail pain in general. It's just so
Nail pain is harsh.
It's just rowdy.
It doesn't make sense because nails are made out of the same stuff as hair. Hair pain hurts. Like, you know, pulling out my facial hair, like one beard follicle hurts a lot, but it's so over quickly. Doesn't make sense for nails to hurt that bad, dude.
It's just got to be the nerves that give you also our superior dexterity
To what?
to the rest of you know, animals.
Monkeys?
Yeah,
monkeys are way more dexterous than us, bro.
really. Well, whatever it is, I guess that's,
Dolphins,
we got the opposable
things
thumbs
without
on them.
nails.
But maybe I'm off base. What I'm saying is,
Tell me a primate that is less dexterous than us, and I will call baloney.
less dexterous.
Yeah.
I feel like we're more dexterous than all of them
What?
because we can build
Have
stuff
you-
with our hands that they can't.
That's intelligence, not dexterity. Is like agility and like reaction time,
You might be onto
flexibility, acrobatics.
something. I'd say they're stronger, but I don't know if they can,
Bro.
I don't know if they can stick a
I'm about to go
a fishing
full Joe Rogan on your ass.
fishing line through the eye of a hook. You know,
but that is. I think you could train a monkey to do that for sure. The difference is a monkey doesn't put fishing line through a hook because a monkey does a triple backflip, like speed builder on some vines and propels itself 40 feet through the air and catches another tree limb in the whole time George of the Jungle's playing.
Right.
Like, when's the last time you flew 40 feet ever?
Right. I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that. But
Let alone caught something.
How about fine motor skills?
Fine motor skills? Sure. That's an aspect of dexterity. I'm just saying, like, when I think dexterous, I think like acrobatics, balance, and I just don't think we're remotely as dexterous as, chimpanzees or, other treetop primates.
I think I have a narrow definition of the word dexterous.
Maybe you're just picking one aspect of dexterity.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe that's
sleight of hand.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe my personal understanding of dexterity is narrow.
Well, that's okay. I won't judge you for it, but I definitely think monkeys are faster and stronger than all of us.
I agree with that.
And I think they have better balance.
This is true.
Okay. And then I secede any other points.
Hmm.
But anyways, yeah, nails are gross. Nails are really gross. And with that, I just learned an awful fact.
Really?
Some woman had an allergic reaction to steroids, and she went bald. But then instead of her hair coming back, her genetics got effed up, and she just started growing fingernails on her head.
No, dude. That is the end of times.
I wanted to throw up when I still want to throw up, bro. Can you imagine just that smooth head? I know, dude. I'm not looking that picture up.
Here's my question. Is her head now a nail, or is it have
it's not
nails?
One nail.
Okay.
I think it was like multiple, dude. Like small nail size, big nail size. Just imagine that, bro. I'm gonna make myself throw up, dude. Oh my gosh, bro. I can't get it out of my head. Ever since I heard that fact, it's like one of those things where like, what an awful day to have eyes. Yeah, and for me, I was just like, I wish I couldn't read. I wish I could unread that.
Yeah. There's some people who shop at places like Hot Topic who would pay top dollar to have nails growing out of their head.
Dude, oh my gosh, dude. Like,
you just, every morning you hear like, and it's just that sound of, when your spouse is nail clipping.
This is what grossed me out, bro. This is what grossed me out when I read that fact. I almost threw up in bed that night. Like, I literally had to sit up in bed and drink water. But like, I felt my nasty ass shattered, held together with glue and tape toenail snag on the sheets.
Oh, that's the worst.
And then I just thought about how that woman's head fucking snags on her pillow. And I was like
imagine putting on a knit sweater.
Dude, I'm getting like a core workout from like trying to fight the urge.
That poor woman. That is horrible.
Don't do roids, guys. Don't juice.
Oh.
There's like a juicing epidemic right now where
I'm sure.
TikTok essentially is just full of a bunch of people doing roids and saying like, it's all like, it's not that bad, guys. Because and everyone's like, oh, okay.
Like the quote unquote moral dilemma on it now would just be around like, well, I'm not an athlete, so it's fine. Like I'm not,
Well, that's the biggest thing is like
it's
people
okay.
aren't competing and they're just like, just do roids to look good, guys.
Yeah.
I just don't get it, man.
Yeah, and it'll tone you up, but dang, it'll mess you up. Give you fingernail head.
Oh, dude,
you gotta get your girlfriend to come pick the lint out of your hair, your nail hair. It's brutal.
Smoke break. Hey, Ken, it's Mick. And I've got something important to talk about. We all hope we never find ourselves in a self-defense situation, but life's unpredictable. Enter the National Self-Protection Plan from Attorneys on Retainer, an actual credible law firm you can put on retainer for your self-defense needs. For just $35 a month, you get national coverage in all 50 states for criminal and civil legal representation in self-defense situations, complete with a 24/7, 365 toll-free emergency line. That's real legal support when you need it most. What's in the package? Bail bonds, scene cleanup, firearm replacement, even mental health counseling. Plus, 0 fees for a laundry list of defense-related costs like expert witnesses. So support the show and get yourself some peace of mind. Click the link in our show notes or visit our sponsors page to sign up for the National Self-Protection Plan from Attorneys on Retainer.
Hey folks, Pat here. If you're like Mick and I, you're a fan of classic tales like Lonesome Dove, Blood Meridian, The Three-Body Problem, and Steinbeck's East of Eden. With Audible, you can dive into these epic stories anytime, anywhere. Sign up for a free month, and your first audiobook is on the house. To start your free trial and support our show, click the link in the show notes or swing by the sponsors page on our website.
Want an awesome website for your podcast? Check out Podpage. We use it for the Mick and Pat show, and it's a game changer. Set it up in minutes, no coding needed. Support the show by using our link to get started. Your podcast deserves a home as great as ours. Podpage, the one-stop solution. I have a headache now from just like the pressure going to my brain, trying not to puke. All right.
Do you like to watch farrier videos?
I don't know what that is. Can we just talk about something else, please? I have other things I want to discuss.
This is transitional.
Is it? I don't want to talk about Dr. Pimple Popper videos.
No. This farrier is a guy who takes care of horses' hooves.
Oh, I've watched a couple. I don't watch the ones where it's like
infected.
Yeah, I don't watch the one where
I don't like those either.
Oozing liquid stuff.
Those are gross.
But when it's like there's a lot of dirt in this hoof, and we're going to clean it out,
and they just
clip these nails. I'm like, that horsey's happy.
Yep. Whenever I see those videos, like just the simple ones, so it's like, I think I should just go be a farrier, and then I see the oozy ones, and I'm like, I should not be a farrier.
Do not do that. I used to despise horses. I used to think horses were really overrated when they were dumb animals and we should just eat them. And I just thought they were mean, and like I think it was mostly because when I was in high school, I read a story about how like this horse straight up just like basically
killed its owner.
No, it didn't kill its owner. It like essentially paralyzed this woman because it started humping her. And like just its like body weight crushed her hips, and like she was in a wheelchair for the rest of her life. And it was like just a normal, like she was just going to like ride horses somewhere, and this horse just got out of control. And I was just like, that is an awful creature. We should kill all the animals that can kill us when they try to have sex with us. Like, we should just exterminate those.
Like a dachshund? You don't have to kill that. You can just punch it.
Stop that.
Yeah. You just
dolphins, they drowned you when they're trying to rape you.
Dolphin rape caves and
caves? Rape caves?
There's dolphin rape caves with their prehensile penis.
Caves?
Dolphin rape caves.
Like they take you to a cave?
And they rape you with their prehensile penis. It's like a monkey tail. This is the legend.
Why would anyone go to the cave if they know the dolphin?
No, they take you down there.
Oh my gosh!
This is fake news.
Oh, it's fake news.
Was a legend in our middle school.
Oh, okay, but the dolphins have tried to rape people.
They do like to.
They also rape other dolphins a lot.
They like to connect. They are highly sociable creatures.
Yeah. Anyways, I used to hate horses, and then these two horses that I named Bert and Ernie.
Yeah.
When I was in college, they were near the apartment I lived at, the townhome, and I would walk to them and just rip grass and feed them while I was like drunk. And me and my roommates, we weren't always drunk, but a lot of times it was after we like hit the town up and had just gone home, and we were smoking some cigars, and we were like, let's go feed Bert and Ernie. And those horses were so nice, bro, and they always came over. They were old too, like they had that deep sag in the back.
Oh yeah,
like, you could tell they were ridden hard. And they were just so nice, and they were kind of assholes. Like they were kind of like, they were real big head bouncers, you know, like they really bounced their head around. And it was definitely just because they wanted more food, and they didn't really care about you petting them. But I was just like, all right, maybe I'm wrong about horsies. Maybe the horsies are kind of cool. And then I saw hairy horsies in Iceland. The long-haired horsies are even cooler.
They're pretty cool looking.
They're just tiny, but then they let their hair grow out. They didn't really let their hair grow. You know, it's like generational adaptation, but I thought they looked pretty sick. Anyways, all that said, hoof stuff, horse stuff, nail stuff, moving on. I got an announcement for you, man. I meant to tell you this last week, but I forgot. I've decided that I'm only going to have beer here at the show.
All right.
Purely because I did the math.
He did the math.
I haven't been getting drunk or anything, but I've been having about 2 to 3 beers, 4 to 5 days, like 4 to 5 nights a week, right? And that's often because like I do the show here, have some beers. Tuesday nights have some beers with a good friend of mine. Thursday nights have beers with a good friend of mine, different friend. Fridays are Dungeons and Dragons, have some beers.
Mm-hmm.
Saturday, have some beers.
Mm-hmm.
Just Saturdays. And dude, I just did the math and I was like, holy smokes, if I'm drinking not the big heavy hitter high calorie beers,
Mm-hmm.
it's still 4,000 extra calories a week.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, it'd probably be easier to slim up if I just cut that out first and then could like maintain my very lazy workout schedule.
Yeah, it's like eating a loaf of bread on the couch every night.
Yeah, exactly. And so I not that it really affects anything that we do, but I was just like, I just decided, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to cut it out.
Back.
And on that note,
Mm-hmm.
had a really good trial run of it where this last Saturday, I was talking about this on Brews and Reviews. My good buddy from out of town who he's the boyfriend of my sister-in-law. They go to college together. But hopefully they'll get married. We're all big fans of him. And he was in town, first time in our neck of the woods. He's always wanted to come and visit and check it out.
Mm-hmm.
And I devised a top 10 brewery tour.
Mm.
And I invited my actual brother-in-law, so my wife's brother,
Mm-hmm.
and then my buddy who I hang out with on Thursdays and get beers with. And I told him, hey, I'll be designated driver,
Mm-hmm.
but we're gonna do the top 10 tour.
Mm-hmm.
And to finish the tour, you have to drink a pint at each place, and we have to like hit all 10 before they close.
Holy smokes.
Here's some heads up. If you guys want to do the tour at New Belgium, we can. If you want to do a flight somewhere to sample their beers, we can.
Mm-hmm.
But just know the difference between like reaching brewery number 7 and being on your 7th pint is really different than brewery number 7 and being on your 12th, 14th pint. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like
if you start
gotta,
off,
you got to pace yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And it was great, man. I was there DD for the day. I told them, I was like, we could do the tour at New Belgium if you guys want. And they're like, yeah, let's do it. And I was like, these freaking amateurs, they're never going to make it.
Starting off at New Belgium.
Yeah. So we started off at Odell's, went to New Belgium for a tour, free tour, and started at like 1 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
So like by 3 p.m. we were on our way to Snowbank. That was our stop number 3. And at Snowbank, they were all on essentially like roughly beer number 4,
Mm-hmm.
beer 3.5, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, from all the free samples you get on the New Belgium tour. And then after Snowbank, can you guess where we went to? I'll let you kind of guess as before we hit each stop. But we went in a very like doable order. The idea was that I could share this with people
Mm-hmm.
and they could bike it, you know, if they wanted to, instead of like having a DD.
Mm-hmm. From there, I'm trying to remember where Horse and Dragon is.
Horse and Dragon was next.
Yeah, that's what I would go to.
Went to Horse and Dragon, and that was when I first started noticing slowdown.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like we hit Horse and Dragon, it's like 4 p.m. and I'm starting to notice these guys are like feeling they're feeling the weight at this point. Wanting to take their time a little bit more, and they're not as like willing to just slam the beer and move on to the next place.
Mm-hmm.
After Horse and Dragon, can you guess where we went?
There's so many freaking breweries.
Think of the good ones, the top 10.
I
If you
know.
could pick 10 of the best.
From there, I would head over towards Old Town.
Nope.
Where'd you go from there?
Funkworks.
Okay.
Still going a little like southeast.
Mm-hmm.
Funkworks is what really turned everything on its head. I just kind of put a little bug in their ears. I was like, there's a lot of sours here. You might not know what you want. Just get a flight.
Mm-hmm.
Get a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know this, but Funkworks flights are like 8 ounces.
Oh no!
Like each beer is 8 ounces.
Mhm.
It's like half a pint. And so, 2 of the guys were pretty much out of their limit at that point.
Mhm.
One dude was helping them finish their flights off. And then from there, we went over to Jessup Farms. Jessup Farms is really cool because Jessup Farms is kind of a recovery spot. And Jessup Farms has this beer that is like it's a half wheat beer. And then it's half lemonade and carbonated. And it's only a 3%er. But it tastes like a very like carbonated, sweet, but still's got kind of like the Hefeweizen weedy flavor to it. I just had a sip of theirs and it was pretty good. But then they kind of recovered there with that as a pint. And from there we went to Rally King. Rally King on it's like Midtown going south. And then after Rally King, we had our first like dude tap out. Just like, I can't make it, man. I can't do it. I'll do tasters from here, but I can't make it. But after Rally King, we hit up Prost. And then after Prost,
the new Prost
location. It's pretty good. They had a really nice pizza chuck there. It was delicious. And after Prost, we went to Max Line. After Max Line, we ended the night at Zwei.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, and then that was kind of close to like the house that a lot like the other two guys are staying at, so dropped them off there. But it was a good trip. It was weird, bro. I definitely got like secondhand intoxicated.
Yeah,
like just by spending all day with people drinking a lot and like their antics and like behavior kind of exhausting you and trying to like herd them around. By the end of the day, I was so exhausted. And I hadn't had like I had maybe had 1 ounce of beer to drink just from like doing little sips of tasting stuff. But I had stopped and grabbed beer from a bunch of different places we were at and just had some samplers at home that night and watched Reservoir Dogs. But it was a good time. And now I want to recommend it to anyone who, you know, comes to our neck of the woods to try out the top 10 because top 10 breweries, getting it done in one day on a Saturday, playing at each. I don't think really many people are going to be able to do that.
It sounds like like a weekend event.
No,
like
it doesn't count.
It
doesn't count if you don't get them in one day. You got to get them all in one day. I had even a couple mulligans in there in case like one was closed. I had a backup brewery to go to in case like because you never know. Sometimes they're closed for holidays or events. But yeah, anyways, it was cool. I made rules for it. The rules are essentially you got to drink a pint at least at each spot. You can drink more than that if you want, but it doesn't count if you don't drink a pint at each spot. And you can puke before you reach Rally King without being disqualified because you puke and rally. But after Rally King, if you puke, you're out and you're disqualified. So... but anyways, it was a fun time. Everyone had fun. It was cool to see them experience some really good craft beer. And I really, I had a really good time without having anything to drink. And I'm really looking forward to kind of just coming back and literally losing weight in my sleep. So anyways, that's kind of my updates.
Oh, it's true. When you cut down the liquid bread, the LBs drop off typically.
Yeah, dude.
For sure. The
cat got your tongue.
It did get my tongue.
What's new in your world? What's going on in your life, bro? I just gave you some updates from me.
I know.
I got more updates if you want me to keep going.
Rolling because right. I'm my updates are currently they're non-interesting.
Oh, okay. My other update is that I've not been having good luck in the gun realm.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so we're going to go shooting this Saturday. Big gun day, big range day. A bunch of guys coming out, going to do some training with them and stuff. And, dude, I've been just kitting out my new Mossberg 590. It's like the newest model from them. It's the 590S. It has built into it the... feeding mechanism for the short 1 inch and 3/4 shells.
Oh yeah,
you can fit like 15 in the tube. And bro, it's been running fine. I took it out skeet shooting even, and it wasn't great for that. But like I still was able to hit a couple like skeets. But bro, I just put on all this like new furniture and stuff, put on a Magpul stock, and I went to dry fire it with, the snap cap in, just making sure function test. The trigger won't compress. Safety on, safety off. Couldn't get the trigger to compress. I did a slam fire like battery thing of just smacking it against the floor. Got it to compress that way, but then once I pumped it, nothing. And it's just trigger lock. And so I'm going to take it to the gunsmith. I took it all apart.
Because you said this is a pretty new gun. You've ran it a few times, but is there a new trigger on there?
No new trigger.
No new guts in there at all. Just new furniture.
The only guts that are new is that I put on a different safety, which isn't really guts.
Right.
That's external, but you have to take the guts out to screw it in, keep everything in place. It was working after that fine. And then I put a magazine extension. So the spring for the magazine and the feeder for the magazine are all new to accommodate the size of the extended tube. But those also I was feeding fine. I only noticed a difference after I swapped out the stocks and I put on the Magpul stock. But I was like, okay, if that's it, maybe it has to do with the stock screw. Took that off, put on the original stock, still wouldn't compress. So now I'm just like pulling my hair out and I'm like, time for, time to just take it to gunsmith.
Yeah.
To take it to someone who I trust. And actually, I do want to shout out anyone in the Northern Colorado area. You should check out PM Guns and Supplies. I know the gunsmith now personally. I didn't know him personally, but I've been a customer of his for years. He's always done me right. He's never overcharged me. There's literally been a time where I brought something into him and he was like, I talked to him on the phone and he was like, I don't really know if this is a gunsmith issue, but you're more than welcome to bring it in. And then I brought it in and he had the humility to call me up. He's like, no, you were right. This is a gunsmith issue. I'm like, I did a fix on it, but the rest of this gun is good as new. Like you did a great job maintaining it, cleaning it, doing parts repair on it. And he literally only charged me for, essentially his time spent doing what he had to do on it that I didn't have the tools for. He didn't charge me for like his, in-depth optimization of not optimization, but in-depth detail, like study to make sure all the parts were good and form fitting. And so PM Guns and Supplies, they're family owned, small shop. They're not a bunch of people. It's like a husband, wife, and their friend that are like the employees there. Very well educated. They will tell you if they don't have the means to do something. Like there's been some times where I know, like I've talked to them or referred a buddy to them and they've just been like, look, I'll be honest with you. Like we just do not have the means to design that or build that part. I can give you recommendations of who can. And like, they're more than happy to make sure you get the right, like expert to do something rather than like, oh, well, we might not be the right people, but we love your money. So we'll do it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I highly recommend them. They're phenomenal people. They've always done right by me.
We cannot get you to get back on target with this perfectly functioning gun.
Does not matter what I do to your gun. Like you're still going to miss if you're not practicing good trigger control.
Is it a 3 gun? Are we running 3 gun this weekend?
I definitely know that the option is there. It's 100% up to, just the comfort of the person who owns the range.
Then I'm going to run my 870 full size on the 3 gun range. Just cause.
Yeah, bro. I was going to run 3 gun. I was going to run my FNX 45 TAC. 590S and my Arrow AR. But dude, like two months ago, my Arrow AR, I took it out to the range and it would not feed the next round. It would fire and extract the case of the round just fired, but it wouldn't pick up the next round. And I could not figure it out. I tried different ammo, tried different mags. Nothing worked. I built it myself. I totally accept I probably fucked it up. Sorry. also news. I'm trying to really dial back on cursing. I really am. Because, we talk so much about like, walking with Christ and stuff like that. And I'm just like, wow, nothing really reveals to you the areas you can work on as a Christian as much as just listening to yourself.
Listening to yourself speak.
Yeah. And so, but anyways, nothing was feeding. I tried, steel mags, P mags, Lancer mags, Winchester white box, Federal, did some like actual, like even tried some VMAX stuff just to like see like what is going on with this thing. And it fired everything, would feed after the first racking of the bolt, the first chamber round, would not pick up the next round. Turn it into the gunsmith. I said, dude, here's what's going on. They're like, that's weird. That sounds like an undergas issue. I was like, dude, I had to actually send this upper back to Aero Precision because there was a bulge in the gas block that was causing it to be undergassed. Aero, to their credit, great customer service. I didn't pay for shipping. They took it. They told me, yep, there's a bulge in the gas block. It's not fixable. We're going to put in a whole new gas tube. It's not something that we can just like bend it back, right?
Right.
We put this in and it ran fine. I was like, cool. And I was using that upper on a Anderson lower, my first AR lower, before I built out my Aero lower with like my custom parts kit, my LaRue trigger. And after I built it out, now was having issues, and I was like, it's clearly probably a me issue, right? It's probably something I did that is not in the right spot, secured properly. Gunsmith, dude, he said it was going to be 3 weeks before he got back to me with like it fixed, just because of how many guns he had on the block. Calls me 2 days later, and he's like, hey man, I took it out to Pawnee and it runs fine. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, I took it apart, down to the bones, looked at everything looked fine, put it back together, took it out to Pawnee, ate everything, different mags, different ammo, totally fine. $40, come get your gun. And I was like, okay, but you took it apart. And he's like, yeah. I was like, all right, so I definitely messed it up. Something I did.
Like when he put it back together, you think that he just...
Him taking it apart and putting it back together fixed whatever the issue was.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure that's probably what happened with my shotgun too. And I'm just going to be like, hey man, do your magic, take it apart, put it back together, and let me know how it works, because I can't get the trigger to work anymore. And it sucks because it was just working, so all that said, I'm hoping to have that ready, because I have like a really sick sling setup. I just finished essentially my like build on it to have like I have like a match saver on the side of the shotgun. Do you know what those are?
I don't know, but I am a match saver. Because I practiced my John Wick reloading, where you stack all them up in your thumbs and whoosh, get them in there.
I actually have beef with Mossberg on that, because I was practicing that reload, and the lip of the magwell on this 590S is so sharp that when I did that, it cut open my thumbs and my fingers, like along all of them. Yeah. When I ran it,
you do 500 times, then you'll be fine.
Just wear gloves.
Yeah. Calluses.
But no, the match saver is this really cool thing where like you essentially use adhesive to put this one shell holder either on Velcro or adhesive behind your chamber. So when you're out, you just like firing hand comes up, pushes it in, chamber it up. And a lot of 3-gunners use it just for like in case they have a misfire or whatever. They can open, chamber it, go ahead. Because I think something like there's a lot of different rules, but 3-gun is essentially like as much ammo as you can have on the gun is as much ammo as you have outside of like the required magazines or whatever you have. But shotgun's really strict where it's like you're not allowed to reload. Like it's whatever you have in the tube. Hence why you see Jerry Michalek with like a 8-foot long extension on his
like
shotgun.
Touching the target. Like, it's like on.
Have you ever watched his video?
Yeah, you just rotate, you just pivot until your tube is touching the steel target and fire.
Have you watched that shotgun video though of his?
I don't think I have.
He literally has a 3-foot like tube extension on a. I think it's a Beretta.
That's where things for me just get a little too. Is it like funny, or is it like I'm
funny.
serious?
No, he's serious, bro. Like, I mean, he's the fastest shooter in the world,
right?
And he has a shotgun syringes just like strapped on his leg, so he just rips those out and thumbs them, and they just load up 8 rounds immediately.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so those are pretty slick. I was thinking about doing a build where I'd have the syringes stored because I found a guy who makes 3 rounds syringes.
Mm-hmm.
But even 3 round syringes are like 7 inches long. I'm like,
and
I couldn't find anything that was 7, like your usual M4 mag holder on like a chest rig is like 5 inches deep. So it's just like, where am I going to put those?
If you were in that highly specific competitive space, it makes sense. But then if you're just like practicing because it's fun and you're trying to do practical application, you start to like move outside of the practical application realm.
Yeah. Yep.
But some of those guys get funny with those big old tubes, and that's why I'm going to run the 3-gun with just my old 870.
Dude, the 870 is what most guys run for pump.
Yeah, but it's not a short one. It's not a tack one. It's just a...
Oh, it's a bird gun?
Yeah, it's a bird gun.
Nice,
So that's what I'm saying. I was thinking maybe my 3-gun setup should be my 6-shooter, revolver, my 30-30, and then my 870, just cause.
Yeah. Is your 870 semi-auto though?
No.
Oh, it's pump.
No, it's pump. So it's all.
Yeah, dude.
It's
all pretty slick.
Only wooden guns, old wooden guns.
Ain't nothing wrong with it, man.
Just for fun. Maybe I'll run one round with it.
Yeah. Have you ever looked into the cowboy action stuff?
I
have a buddy who does it. Just started this last year. Last summer, I guess, is when he started. He loves it, man. He's gotten to the point where he's just using like custom loads for 45 long Colt. And he does, the 2 long Colt revolvers, long Colt repeater. And then for shotgun, the only thing you're allowed is side by side. There's no pump allowed.
Yeah, it's just
he's gotten really good. And he says he's like, the best part about it is seeing you improve. Like the first time you do it, you're like, gosh, I was so slow. I fumbled. Literally took me a minute to run this course. I'm watching guys run it in 10 seconds. I'm watching, kids run it in 12, 15.
Oh yeah. And they're like a pistol in each hand sometimes.
Yeah. And they're still shooting 45 long Colt.
Oh,
they're not shooting 22s. And he was just like, now I'm running it. And I'm like, wow, I can literally see myself get 100% better in the last like 1 year practicing every other weekend. And I just think I don't know, it's super cool. I'm jealous. I kind of want to do it. He got all of his guns from his grandpa, but I'm kind of jealous. I was like, dude, I would love to run that.
It's fun and cool. And it just starts to border on LARPing so much that I just don't know if I can do it. It's like, because here's the deal.
But what if you're now LARPing? What if you get that good with the revolver, bro?
Dude, I know. But it's like lots of the guys wear like a sheriff's star.
Like it's LARPing when it's airsoft.
Yeah.
It's not LARPing when you are that fast with a 45 long Colt.
It's true, but like chaps don't help you shoot guns. That's all I'm saying.
That's true. Like, it does become the Ren Fair really fast.
And I wish, here's the deal. I wish I was a real life cowboy because then I would wear chaps all day, every day, just because I'd drive a Prius and I'd get out of my Prius with my chaps on.
Dude, here's my biggest argument.
Yeah.
Deconstruct the cowboy wardrobe. Because we only think the cowboy wardrobe is the cowboy wardrobe because that's what everything in the movies was when we were growing up.
Yeah.
And now, like, some cowboys dress that way. But, dude, most people who are actual cowboys today, like, or were actually out there with livestock, don't wear those things.
No.
And I'm all about, like, wear the cowboy hat and not square-toed boots. Wear a cowboy hat in a suit with round-toed boots. Just let the cowboy hat be a part of your professional outfit. Let the cowboy hat be on when you're wearing a short sleeve and shorts.
Yeah, just the bro tank.
It's a hat.
Yeah,
it's a hat if it looks good on you, if it fits your head right, and it keeps the sun off your melon. Wear it, dude. Yeah. If you like, I can't tell you how many guys I have who are afraid to wear a cowboy hat out anywhere, but they wear square-toed boots everywhere because they're comfortable and they slip on easy. And if I'm like, you a cowboy, bro? They're going to be like, no, man, but these boots are damn comfy and they look really good. And I'm like, great, man. I don't think like, bro, you should take those off.
I know.
You know what I mean?
This is true. I had a pair of, I had these Rocky brand combat boots that I loved. but I started to hate wearing them around because I felt like I was a poser for like military stuff. I was like,
military doesn't even wear combat boots, bro.
I know.
Only emos do.
I know. I know, right? But but they were the real. They were what the dudes wore, and to the point where I'd have guys ask me, like real guys would ask me, like, oh, so like, you know, they'd come up and start talking about, like, I got these at the ARC from an ROTC guy. And they're like, oh, and I'm like, sorry, bro, they fit well.
The most embarrassed I've ever felt for another guy. Actually, that's not true. Let me restate that. The most I have ever felt another guy's disappointment was when I was working armed security in the cannabis industry. I was working an armored truck one day, and I went in and collected money. And I was collecting money like at a cannabis dispensary, bagging it, counting it. The dude working at the dispensary was like a former Marine. He looked at my boots. He's like, oh, dude, I recognize those boots. And he put out his hand. And I was like, before I shake your hand, you got to know, like, I literally just tried on boots. And I picked the most comfortable pair, bud. And I was willing to spend top dollar. And he was like, oh, hey, you know what? I appreciate you being honest. And he like still shook my hand, and we still chatted every time I picked up the money from there. But I knew he thought, he was like, this is a dude who was like, you know, Marsoc like me. Right. And I was like, yeah, I'm not that guy, but yeah, like I just picked the most comfortable boots because I hate standing in uncomfortable boots all day. Oh yeah. Yep. They're but maybe the cowboy hat needs to make a return. The cowboy hat needs to be for all people. I'm not a cowboy, but I love my cowboy hat, dude. My cowboy hat, I pretty much got it specifically for, like, you know, church clothes. Like, I specifically got it for looking good, put together. I don't own cowboy boots. I had a couple people tell me, like, you got to get cowboy boots to complete it. I'm like, I'm not a cowboy. I've never owned cowboy boots. I don't know the first thing about buying cowboy boots. But if I try them and they're really comfy, I'm all about it. I like these boots I had. They're called Bullhead. They're from England, and they're really good dress boots. They look really good, but they have a zipper on this inside, and so you can take them off really easily. You don't have to spend like 5 minutes lacing up. And I love them, and I'm all about just ease of putting them on and off. So if cowboy boots are the answer, man, I might get a pair. I don't know if I'll go square toed though. Square toe's really a move. Like you're I would feel a little bit of a poser. you start to verge. Yep. Oh yeah. Anyways, hey, follow up from our last podcast. I talked to that guy. Oh really? Yeah. Just had a good conversation. I was pooping when he called me. And he, I told him, I was like, hey man, can I give you a call? He's like, let's talk tomorrow. I'm busy today. And I was like, all right, sounds good. So he called me while I was on the pooper. And I just told him, I was like, hey man, like, I think you're genuinely a good dude, but like, I just gotta set some boundaries, And he handled it really well. And like, he respected it a lot. And like, we'll still hang out. But like, it was a really cool thing because I felt like more men should be comfortable with like having that conversation of, hey dude, I know you're a good guy, but like sometimes your words really cut deep, and I just gotta set some boundaries, and like it felt very healthy, felt like a weight lifted, and like we can hang out and not be awkward. And so it's one of those things that is pretty cool. And I recommend more people doing that. If you got someone in your life who you're like, dude, this guy, his words kind of are like cutting me down a little bit when like we get in an argument, dude, just set a boundary. Don't be immature and don't ghost a guy, especially if he's a good friend and you want to like be there for him, but like, it's okay to set boundaries. And so I'm a big fan of that now. It's working out well. Yeah. I think that's good. Cause then, sometimes you just need a little space, and people got to know that they're, it's like the old, like,
wearing out your welcome, you know?
Yeah. And you don't need to tell the guy like, hey man, like I didn't even tell him anything. I wasn't like, hey, when you said this, like, I thought, you know, you're a total asshole in that. And like, you know, I didn't like try to get my skin.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was just like, this is the situation. This is how I feel. And like what I think is like the best approach to it. What are your thoughts? And he was totally respectful of it. And like, you don't need to get your skin, you know, you don't need to get your like equal, like, you don't need to have that guy say, I'm sorry, man, that I was a total asshole in that. And you're right. Like, I didn't need him to say you're right. I needed him to just say, that's totally fine.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I respect that. And I'll honor that. Mm-hmm. And so that was felt like a pretty cool thing.
It can be freeing.
Oh yeah. I mean, and you're someone who, you know, you set boundaries with some guys in the past and stuff. And like, it feels like, what are your thoughts on like how that's kind of produced? Like, do you feel like those boundaries were good and you felt like weight lifted or?
Yeah, I think that especially if you have a lot of bitterness and resentment, in a relationship, the time heals all wounds thing, that is true, but it's not necessarily true. So I'll break that down too. But if you have bitterness and resentment, you have to, something has to change to start getting breakthrough, right? And sometimes that thing needs to be space in a relationship or setting boundaries in a relationship. And the time heals all wounds piece would be like just letting it sit and fester does not heal. And you won't find healing in that like relationship. But once you can make it known how you're feeling about these things, and you can voice that bitterness or voice that concern or voice that hurt, then the time can start to heal, because it's kind of like you've experienced that thing probably where you've either broken up with a girlfriend or you've had a really weird, like you've had a fight with someone you care about, and then the next time you see them, it's like something's broken. You know, that like that weird disconnect feeling when they walk in the room and you're there and you're like, I don't really know how to act now. I don't know how to be in this space. And nothing's said, but you can just tell like there is something weird in between the two of us. Like, and it's just there. And I think that the only way that you can start to move through those things is to voice the hurt or the bitterness or the things that happened, and then make a way forward. And that still can be like spending time together and not spending time together. But it's like the time healing wounds has to be intentional time. Whether it's, you know, hey, I'm not going to engage you on this topic, or hey, we've kind of drifted apart. Let's make sure that once a week or once a month or once every 3 months, we're going to grab coffee or go fishing or whatever. Or if it's your spouse, like we're going to be going on a date. We're going to be intentionally checking in the morning, not just, or like when we go to bed, we're not on our phones. We're going to actually like talk and be together, whatever it is. Like the time that heals all wounds has to be intentional time. But then pride is what gets in the way of progress there. So if you have both parties have to be willing to walk forward with it. And sometimes you'll get where someone thinks that the like humble, quote unquote, humble way to move forward is to just like bend over. But that's not the way forward either. Just to always be like, I was wrong, I was incorrect, this was bad. It has to be also, you can also still stand up for yourself as you walk through that too. So
yeah. And I think there's a lot said to like, you you don't know how that other person's going to approach it.
Mm-hmm.
And like in my conversation, like I didn't go with an expectation of an apology.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't go with an expectation of him listening to me, like going off with like the things he said that, you know, hurt my feelings or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I just went in with like, hey, I'm just going to be objective about like what I think is healthy for me.
Mm-hmm.
And in that, he owned up to a lot of stuff. Like without me seeking it out, he just was like, you're right on XYZ. And I want to apologize for that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, awesome. Like I didn't even expect that,
Mm-hmm.
but I felt a lot of healing from that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. It gives them an opportunity in that space, and you can only be responsible for how you react, you know, and then how that person's going to react to it is up to them. So you at least, like, when you get in these situations, there's the relationship to be salvaged, and there's also, and there can be work done around that. But then like bitterness in yourself, or in these sorts of darkness that come up in ourselves, that kind of even start to build on our own while we're not with that person. Those things you get to release yourself just from how you express yourself. You can release yourself from bitterness.
Mm-hmm.
That person's response or unresponse isn't going to release you from any bitterness.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's that part to free yourself, and then there's the salvaging the relationship. I just thought of this story from just a little it's a, you know, fable or a you know, just a little lesson story. But there was and it speaking specifically to around how we can get into bitterness and places where we can just sit in our own story that we're replaying in our head, and we can get in a place that's not good and isn't even the reality. So this guy, he broke down on the side of the road. He had a flat tire, and he didn't have a jack in his car, and so he's trying to figure out what he's going to do, how he's going to get home. And he sees this little light in the distance, and he's like, all right, I'm going to go for help. I'm going to, you know, that's probably a friendly farmer down the road. He's going to help me out. Every farmer's got a jack, right? This is going to help me. So he starts walking down the road, and he's like, it'd be nice to get to this guy. This guy's going to help me out. People around here are nice people. And he keeps walking, and he's like, you know, this gets a little closer, and he's like, I might kind of disturb this guy when I wake him up. I'm not sure how he's going to react to that. Walks a little further, and he's like, you know, this guy, when I wake him up, he's gonna be scared, and he's gonna think that I'm like breaking in. So I got to kind of figure out how I approach this deal, you know. And he's walking, and he starts thinking more about it, and he's like, this guy's just gonna like, he's gonna be rude to me probably because I've woken him up. You know, he walks a little further, and he's like, this guy's gonna, he's gonna not even help me out because he's gonna be so pissed that I woke him up. Keeps walking down further, and he's like, this guy, I'm gonna walk all the way down here, and this guy is gonna offer no help to me. He's not gonna take care of me at all. He's gonna leave me stranded on the road, and he's not gonna consider, you know, his fellow man in this situation at all. You know, this guy. He gets up to the door, and he knocks on the door, and this little old farmer opens the door, and this guy he's all worked up, and he just yells, you can take your jack and shove it. And then he just turns around and walks back to his car. And you know, that's the whole damn story. But the deal is, you know, we make these assumptions, and we get ourselves worked up into things, and we assume stuff, we project onto other people our own stuff. And it's just a funny little story that Grandpa used to tell, but I think there's a lot of lessons there that actually go much deeper around how you can sit in bitterness, or you can actually take the time to address somebody and communicate with somebody and tell them what you're feeling and probably come to a good solution.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of that is, all in our own minds and our own projection. That's funny. I've never heard that, but that's a good little antidote for it. Working yourself up. I feel like I've been in both parties on that, both the farmer and the person in need of help overthinking a situation. But anyways, that was kind of all I really had on that. Like, just thought it was cool follow up. What are you like? What's going on with you? Like, I kind of went through my whole your
whole deal
last week of things I'm doing and all that. You're kind of, what's going on?
Yeah, I've been traveling a lot. Right now I'm just getting back in the work mode of things, and today was classic. I had planned out my whole day. I was going to get in here in the office, do office work all day, and get a bunch of stuff done that's stacked up. And I quoted this job over the phone, sent my guy out on it all the way out in Greeley. So he's an hour away from here, and he gets out there and is all my fault. He didn't have the materials he needed, and it was a bad job. And so anyways, so long story short, I'm driving to Longmont to pick up materials out to Greeley, helping him out back here. Gotten 0 things done that I need to do today. I'm looking at potentially, I might hire another person in the company. And so I was planning on just getting to do some thinking around that today and didn't get to, but because, this is classic entrepreneurship, which is figuring out how to run a company and not let it run you. And today it ran me around for sure. And so that's we'll see. I'm excited if I can get this new person hired on. It'll be a big deal for my tiny little company to bring on another person who can help out and move it forward again. And it'll be a risk for my family, a risk for the business and all that, but that's kind of how it goes on these things. So I've been thinking through that, working through that, and there's 2 sides of this for me. Is there's all the practical stuff, and does these numbers line up here? Does this job description make sense? All the way over to just sometimes you got to risk it to get the biscuit. And then also you got to step out in faith sometimes, but then also I'm responsible for more people than just myself. And so that's an interesting thing too about running a business when you have a family too, is your decisions impact more people than just you. So you have to weigh out all those things and figure out if it's worth the risk.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't envy that, bro.
So
that's a lot of decisions to make. And I feel like that kind of lends itself to, I know we've talked about wanting to do a small business series here, and I think there's a lot of value in that because so many people, even myself, I've had plenty of thoughts in regards to small businesses and launching my own. And so much of it is wrapped around in a fog of not knowing and how to go about those things. And I think there's a lot of value that you have to provide in that and insight into how to get started on running your own company. And I know we're blessed with having a lot of close connections with people who also run their own small businesses, and definitely think that'll be a valuable little series of, how do you take those first steps, and then what comes after the first steps,
right
after you're making money and self-sustaining. But
yeah, because there's lots of people out there who want to start their own thing, and then lots of people don't know that it takes 3 to 5 years before you're really making money.
Yeah,
unless you're in a really unique situation or in a very dynamic and quick growing market. Certain startups, and usually those things that grow really fast also have a lot of investment behind them and that sort of thing. And so people out there are also hungry to in a lot of cases be on their own too. And we're in a really interesting space right now where it's getting more and more polarized, I think, between like big company, big corporation, and then small mom and pop stuff. And we've watched a lot of small mom and pop stuff die out, but then there's lots of people starting to own their own companies again around, especially like, probably the social media world is such a market driver for so many people that some people can make a living off of just posting pictures of themselves in certain places and saying, this is a cool place.
Yeah.
Whatever. And really not doing anything over to, moving products or certain things. But it's funny because I think about how it used to be around the American landscape, where it really was like small family farms, really small businesses, and really communities relying on each other. And then throughout the Great Depression through World War II into like the 50s, you started to get into just like, what made the most sense was to go get a job at a company, work 30 to 40 years, have a pension when you're retired, and just like that was the cushiest thing you could do. And then now it's coming back around to lots of people wanting to own their own things and start their own things and develop their own things. And most things fail.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, there's definitely something to be said about that, like feeling of security and like how that's changed. Like, I agree, like for, especially like our grandparents' generation, like that generation has a feeling of loyalty to their employer because they felt like their employer took care of them. And I feel like nowadays, so many people I talk to are just like, I feel like I'm most secure if I'm my own boss, because I don't feel like my company's loyal to me.
Yeah. And it's not reciprocated both ways, where it's like, you feel like a cog in the wheel. And then also as like from a business owner standpoint, you have all these people who are just like, here's how you maximize your salary. Work a maximum of 3 years at any location. After 2 years at a job, be applying for the next job. You've got experience, start when the negotiation comes in for that hiring package, bump it up as high as you can, negotiate hard. If they say no, fine, keep going until someone bites, work for them for 2 years. And before you know it, like you will be making like $200K by the time you're 27.
Yeah.
And like, that is where you'll be at. And it's like, so then there's all these, you have like the people who feel like a cog in the wheel, who just feel like they have no security because somebody somewhere in a different country or different state will decide to lay off a whole branch or sell it, and you're just like, your job security is bad. And then from the business employer standpoint, it's like, I just got all these people who really like, they really are only here for the money. And lots of people would be like, well, that's what a job's for, is like just for the money. It's like, well, that is true, but that's not always how the mentality's been around that, like around loyalty and certain things of what you do and what your career is and what your craft and what you build and what you're a part of and those sorts of things.
Yeah, no, I agree. I feel blessed. I mean, I have an employer that I feel very like stable at. I feel like I've been able to see taking care of their own employees pretty well from like my coworkers who are older than me, been with the company longer. I definitely feel though like it is unique, like I definitely feel like that is not the same everywhere, especially like prior jobs I worked at. Like I know when it came to that renegotiation, for your salary, it was kind of like I've gotten the total like conversation like, well, they just don't think you're worth that. It's like, okay. And that's when you start looking elsewhere, So I get that's not the majority of what like people find themselves in, but I do find myself very thankful for an employer that I do feel like is in the long game of valuing their employees and trying to retain their employees out of loyalty and rewarding their employees for sticking around. But anyways, I don't really have much else for this episode, man. I feel like we've covered a lot and good little tidbits here and there. Eventually, sooner than later, with what we have kind of in the pipeline, I'd like to kind of take all these, essentially the things we buy, stuff we buy to kit out our guns, the stuff we buy for, first aid response and all of that. Like my idea is to kind of get those up for our kin out there who are listening, so that way they can kind of see what we put our own money into and trust as brands and product, and be able to kind of use that as a way of making a confident purchase and stuff. And so I think that'll be kind of coming out here soon too, and in the near future. Essentially the Mick and Pat preferred list, the Mick and Pat
preferred loadout.
Yeah, like what we put our confidence in. And I think that'll be pretty sick and cool to get feedback, because we're kind of at a nice point where we're blessed to have people more experienced than us in individual fields that allow us to kind of overall round ourselves out with good equipment, good stuff for whatever we have our needs of. And feels good at like the idea of being able to pass that on to others, of like, yeah, everyone's going to say they're selling the best product, but like, here's what we put kind of like our lives on. So anything else that you want to add?
No. And I think that, we're just a couple episodes out of that fatherhood podcast series, and we're excited to keep bringing some of those topics up. Let us know what you want to hear about. We haven't really used our social network to its extent. Even we barely scraped the surface around, like people we know about certain things, certain topics. And so like, what do you want to hear about? What do you want to know? We're excited to bring some of those more intentional series out, so that we can be bringing you stories and voices of things that are relatable, or things that are unique you never heard of, or things that give you new perspective on life. And so we want to keep bringing those things out as well. We're looking into, it'll be the fall before we know it, and that's when I think after this, in the summertime, people have crazy schedules, family vacations, whatever. We're looking to get into some cool rhythms throughout the fall, and so that's when you can expect to see more consistent schedules and things coming out, and with those more intentional topics as well. And we appreciate everybody who's listening, people who are following us. I had someone even on the phone today was like, hey, when's the next one coming out? That sort of thing. And I was like, it was cool, because people listen, people want to hear it. So we'll keep bringing stuff out as people want to have it. And I think that's what we got for you tonight.
Till next time, Ken.
Thanks for tuning in. If you love this episode, drop us a review. If you have qualms or comments, leave us a voicemail on our website. While you're there, check out our latest news, merch, and deals from our sponsors. Till next time, Ken.